Hello, thanks for coming to today's presentation on the Dredged Material Management Facility project update. I'm Bridget Hank. I am a Senior Project Manager for the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District, otherwise known as MMSD. I'm the Project Manager for the design of the Dredged Material Management Facility, or DMMF. This presentation is going to focus on the background of the project, the development of the project to date, and the timeline for construction. The purpose of the project is to provide safe containment of 1.9 million cubic yards of sediment removed from the Milwaukee, Menomonee, and Kinnickinnic Rivers. And this will be done to improve the water quality for a healthier. The DMMF project partners include Port Milwaukee, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, We Energies, and MMSD. The proposed DMMF is located on Jones Island, south of Summerfest and the Jones Island Water Reclamation Facility. The proposed facility is just east of the Hone Bridge and north of the existing Dredged Material Disposal Facility, or Confined Disposal Facility, as shown on your screen. The proposed DMMF is approximately 42 acres in area, with a capacity to hold 1.9 million cubic yards of material. That's 13 football fields filled with 50 feet of sediment. The elevation of the completed DMMF is going to be similar to the surrounding areas, including the existing DMDF or CDF. The size of the DMMF is defined by the State of Wisconsin's Submerged Land Grant Authority and the start of the federal government navigational channel. Now that we've got the basis of our background of how and where this facility will be placed, let's talk about the design of the facility. In November 2020, a concept plan was developed by Foth Infrastructure and Environment under a contract with We Energies. These plans were used to develop permitting applications for the future facility. The permit applications were submitted in April 2021, and the first public information meetings were held in May 2021. At that time, MMSD was working on changing a state statute that would allow MMSD to construct that facility outside of our service area. While we were waiting for that statute change, MMSD did a request for proposal, or RFP, for the final design work to select the final design consultant. Ramble Engineering Americas was awarded the final design in December, and the statute was unanimously approved in January. One of Ramble's first tasks was to review the permit applications and the regulatory comments to identify efficiencies and improvements. An alternative design was selected in February 2022. And in July, the Ramble team prepared preliminary engineering documents that are the basis for this presentation. Those documents will be further refined for permit applications in early 2023. The proposed design is very similar to a design that was done on Lake Ontario at Randall Reef in Canada. As you can see on your screen, the Randall Reef facility used 2 rows of sheet piles tied together with tie rods, and then the space between those sheet piles is filled with the granular material. That granular material allows for trucks to drive around the top and dump either the granular material or impacted sediment into the facility. While some of our components are very similar to Randall Reef, there are a few key things that are a little bit different. We are adding something called a bulk barrier cutoff wall between the sheet piles. This cutoff wall would act as an impermeable barrier between the inside and the outside of the facility. Essentially, the bulk barrier cutoff will not allow water to go in or out of our facility. The image on the top of the screen shows one way to install that cutoff wall. The method shown is called a secant wall pile. The design team is currently evaluating that option or an in situ soil mix alternative, which basically takes the aggregate that we're putting in and mixing it with some additives to make that impermeable barrier. The bulk barrier will be on all 4 sides of the facility. Another big difference between our facility and Randall Reef is we've only got 2 sides that are adjacent to Lake Michigan. So only 2 sides of our facility will have the dual sheet pile wall. And the other 2 sides, our west and south sides, will have something called a combi wall, or a combination wall. There not be tie rods that hold this wall together to the existing facility. The combi wall can stand on its own, and it can also hold back all that aggregate material. The bulk barrier would start at the toe of the existing rubble mound or the existing large rocks that are out there. So the existing facility on the DMDF side has large rocks, and then the existing dock wall also has some riprap rock that is a little bit smaller, but still very large. The bulk barrier would be at the toe of both of those slopes. And then just inside of that will be our combi wall. This structure also allows for trucks to travel around the top of the facility, so we will have a full perimeter that will allow for truck traffic. As the design continues to advance, additional information is needed about our existing conditions. One of the items that Ramble investigated over the summer was geotechnical borings on the lake. This is used to determine how strong the lake bed soil is and the general lake bed soil properties. So how strong is it and what is it made of? Shown on the screen is the barge and the drill rig that was used to collect that information. The barge was provided by Michaels Corporation and the drilling done by Terracon, both under the Ramble contract. Ramble also worked with Commonwealth Heritage Group to complete an investigation of a sunken vessel within the DMMF footprint. This vessel was found to be disarticulated or in many pieces, and it likely has no historic significance. This investigation is needed as part of our permitting process to make sure that we are not filling a vessel that has historic significance. So that brings us to our design to date, and where do we go from here? The Ramble team is working towards permit submittals in early 2023 and anticipates completion of the design and permit approvals by the end of 2023. Construction of the facility is anticipated to take 2 to 3 seasons. Once complete, the EPA Great Lakes Legacy Act filling will begin. That's anticipated to take 2 to 3 seasons as well. Once that filling is complete, that material needs time to settle and consolidate. When it is consolidated and settled, that gives us capacity for MMSD and Port Milwaukee to place material into the facility and then finish and cap it. The MMSD and Port Milwaukee filling does not have a specific date. Those would be project by project based. It is anticipated that that filling and consolidation and capping process will take 25 to 50 years. That's when there'd be a usable land available along the port. That concludes today's presentation and update on the DMMF. If you have additional questions or want more information, please contact me at the information on your screen. We do anticipate that we will be doing additional presentations and updates as this work progresses. The best way to stay informed is to subscribe to the Waterway Restoration Partnership newsletter at mkewaterwaypartners.org. Thanks for listening to our project update. We look forward to bringing you more updates as this work progresses.